Part 52. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 511. The smell of blood and gun smoke filled the nostrils. This smell stimulated John Killen's nerves very strongly. The gray-haired man, who could he be? Are you, like yourself, the guardian of a certain country? John Killen was speculating in his mind, and Pyramid gave him the answer. That old guy from the CIA is becoming more and more incompetent. He actually doesn't even know about the missions conspired by his subordinates, and let those ignorant people send in such a loser. Doesn't he think that he is the only one I have in the CIA? He is old and should retire. Besides, he thinks he is secretly slandering me and I don't know about it? I am too lazy to argue with him. But it's different now. His work has such a big problem, I can only bear the pain and let him abdicate. Also, I remind my friends again that my eyes are everywhere. His voice was nice, but it was too feminine and his tone was drawn out, giving people a creepy feeling. Listening to him speak was like listening to the sound of a poisonous snake spitting messages. The man continued, as for me, I really hope that everyone will not hide anything from me. I am omniscient and omnipotent. Don't disobey my orders. Only I am truly good for everyone. Only I can create a better future for your descendants, he. John Killen was keenly aware that the air pressure of many people around him had dropped. It seems that there is no peace within the Freemasonry. Just like Amos's tone when he mentioned the president just now, he was scared and unconvinced. Perhaps, within the United Freemasonry, there are not a few who do not like or are dissatisfied with the president. The camera on the pyramid turned again, this time focused on John Killen, and the voice said happily. The gentleman who was pointed at gunpoint by the CIA bastard, you have good courage. In addition, you are welcome to join our big family of the Freemasons. From now on, we will be a family. I hope that our family will not hide from each other. Please always keep in mind the 4 principles of our Freemasonry. Mutual aid, mutual benefit, control, subversion. John Killen raised his lips and smiled, with a touch of joy in his voice, this is the greatest honor in my life. After speaking, he placed the palm of his right hand on his heart and bowed slightly towards the pyramid. Happy laughter came from the pyramid. The feminine male voice finished laughing and cleared his throat briefly. Now that the rats have been removed, we should talk about how to remove the garbage from the earth. Asterisk. The snow in Ice City came earlier and more intensely than usual. Although Song of Light and Blood requires a lot of snow scenes, this kind of snow is really too big. It's so big that it's impossible to shoot on location. Even if you reluctantly go out to take pictures, your facial features will be obscured by large snowflakes. The crew decided to wait until the snow lightened up or stopped completely before going out for location shooting. The filming location is in the suburbs. The crew rented several B/U0026Bs on the outskirts of the city. In the B/U0026B, there is a large earthen kong that is more than 10 meters wide, with a hollow bottom. Firewood and coal are burned under the large stove next door. The heat generated can be used for cooking and heating the kong. A group of actresses and female theater employees leaned on the folded soft cotton quilts and looked at the huge snowflakes falling outside the glass window. Everyone looked lazy. There were several girls from the south who looked out the window and were fascinated by the sight. They have never seen such heavy snow. The feather-like snow described in previous Chinese textbooks was not an exaggeration, but a reality. The snowflakes here are really as big, white, and soft as goose feathers. These people had been having fun in the snow for a while, and now they had just changed out of their wet clothes. They were sitting on the warm kong, leaning on the soft quilt, looking at the snowy scene outside the window, feeling that their lives were complete. Before today, I thought people in the north must have a hard time in winter. Yes, because our south is not as cold as the north, but most people can't bear it. It's damp, wet, dark and cold. A girl wailed, "I hope you have heating, a Kong, and a snow scene to watch. I'm so jealous of you." The hot Kong is not good either. You have never slept on it? Let me remind you that if you sleep on the hot Kong, you may get a fever tomorrow, nosebleeds, or even mouth ulcers. Tang Qing is from northeast China, she kindly reminds everyone. We are willing to bear it. A nosebleed is colder than your hands and feet. Menstrual cramps are okay. When you get angry, eat more fruits and vegetables. We are not afraid. Southern girls raised their arms and shouted. Speaking of oral ulcers, Bai Kinkan said, "It seems that there are a lot of people with oral ulcers this year. I have a few friends who hold concerts, and they are all troubled by oral ulcers. They say that it hurts very much when I sing or eat. My brother also has oral ulcers. In my mind, he never seems to have oral ulcers." Chen Ling's ears twitched. Oral ulcers. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 512. A bunch of people got oral ulcers. Chen Ling's heart moved. Could it be a conspiracy of the Heji Society? Going to great lengths to create an infectious disease that can cause oral ulcers. Chen Ling couldn't help but laugh at herself. She was too nervous during this period, and she was a little paranoid. Oral ulcers, oral ulcers. Chen Ling muttered to herself, maybe what everyone has is not ordinary oral ulcers, but herpetic gingivostomatitis transmitted by the herpes virus. It is difficult for ordinary people to distinguish between herpetic gingivostomatitis and oral ulcers. But even herpetic gingivostomatitis is not a big deal, right? It's just a few holes in the mouth, swollen and painful gums, a few lumps on the lips, and a few red acne-like lumps around the mouth. Just treat herpetic gingivostomatitis as an ordinary oral ulcer. Herpetic gingivostomatitis is directly transmitted by droplets and broken herpes fluid at the same time. It can also be indirectly transmitted through tableware and clothing. The main ways of transmission are oral, nasal, conjunctival, genital mucosa, respiratory tract and damaged skin. Chen Ling pondered. Many people are troubled by repeated attacks of herpetic gingivostomatitis, which may affect rest, sleep, normal speech, diet. Moreover, our skin and mucous membranes are a barrier that can resist most bacteria and viruses for us. Ulcers in the mouth are equivalent to puncturing a hole in our body's immune barrier, and viruses and bacteria can enter the human body through this hole. Chen Ling couldn't think of any intrinsic connection between mass oral ulcers and cold viruses. So, she quickly put aside this idea and began to recite the lines in her mind, so that when the snow stopped later, she wouldn't have to spend time reviewing the script. Asterisk. This nationwide oral ulcer spread quietly among the crowd. Social networks are full of the voices of people troubled by oral ulcers. Please make mouth ulcers disappear from the earth. It's unbelievable. Why is it that in the 21st century, there is still no specific medicine for such a minor problem as mouth ulcers? Scientists. I have 5 mouth ulcers in a row in my mouth, and my throat and ears are hurting. Eating and drinking water is simply a torture, it's too painful. Mouth ulcers, the real suffering of the world. There is a huge mouth ulcer on the tip of the canine tooth. As long as I open my mouth, my whole face feels like it's been stabbed by a knife. No medicine works. I can't sleep all night because of the pain, and I have to get up in the morning to go to work. I don't dare to ask my boss for leave because of the mouth ulcer. I don't know if I didn't sleep well, got angry, or was burned, but there are a circle of small bubbles on my lips, and they are swollen like sausages. Help, my mouth ulcers have been lasting for almost a month. One is almost healed, and a new one will grow. Crack.jpg. There is no torture that can compare to mouth ulcers. How can oral ulcers be cured? Fruits and vegetables. Go to bed early, rinse with compound boric acid, apply phthalimide ointment, rinse with mouthwash, and avoid eating spicy food. I did all of them. However, the oral ulcer is not healed yet. P.S. Day 13 of oral ulcers. I heard that eating spicy food and stimulating the wound of oral ulcers can make the immune system sense that you have a problem here, and will help you cut in line to solve the problem. Has anyone tried it? I also heard that if you have oral ulcers, you must stimulate it to let the body know that you must overhaul it here in order to get better quickly. Being stabbed in the back by oral ulcers non-stop, non-stop, non-stop. The meteorite crater that hits the human body, oral ulcers. Those who don't have oral ulcers can't understand. Moreover, saying that you can't tolerate oral ulcers. It is indeed easy to give people the impression of cowardice and hypocrisy. However, only those who have oral ulcers know how much suffering there is. Even if I share it with others, the most they can say is sympathetic, stay up less late, eat less spicy and dry food. Eat more fruits and vegetables, and rinse your mouth with mouthwash. No one really takes oral ulcers seriously. It seems that just overnight, without most people realizing it, oral ulcers have spread among the crowd. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 513. Although the snow scene looks very beautiful, filming in the snow is very hard. Walking in the snow itself consumes a lot of physical energy. In addition, the temperature is too low. If you stand in the snow, you will be hit by the cold air in a short time. The cold wind is getting stronger and stronger, carrying snow particles, cutting the exposed skin, really like a knife. Wang Zhen, who was holding a hot water bottle, felt that the heat from the hot water bottle was useless. Her soles were completely frozen. If she moved a little, she would feel like she was covered with black and white spots. And her thick trousers were stuck with snowflakes, which were melted by her body temperature. After a while, they were frozen like popsicles and hard. Everyone in the crew wanted to stick the hot baby all over their bodies. Other actors waiting to shoot their own scenes huddled in thick and heavy down jackets. Wang Zhen felt that the bag she was carrying was shaking. It was Cheng Ling's mobile phone that was ringing. Wang Zhen stretched her stiff fingers, pulled them out of her gloves, and took out her phone. It was Cheng Ling's mother's phone. Wang Zhen looked up at Cheng Ling, who was struggling in the snow. At this moment, she was filming a shot of her aimlessly walking in the snow. Wang Zhen answered the phone. This was Cheng Ling's order. She was afraid of missing something important. Hello, Cheng's mother, it's me, Xiao Zhen. Wang Zhen answered the phone and introduced herself first. Oh, my Xiao Ling is filming. Yes, Cheng's mother, it will be finished in a few minutes. Can you wait? Yes, it's not a big deal. Okay, then I'll wait for Xiao Ling to call me back. Thank you for taking care of my daughter. It's not hard, this is what I should do, Wang Zhen said. Goodbye, Cheng's mother. Putting down the phone, Wang Zhen pinched the warm baby on her belly. The warm baby had run out of energy long ago, and now there was only the temperature of her own body. Wang Zhen tore off the warm pack, held it in her palm, and looked at Cheng Ling on the set with some heartache. This was Cheng Ling's one-man show. Between heaven and earth, there was a vast expanse of white. Yashao Kaiu, wearing a white fur cloak, walked alone in the forest and snow, as if she had merged into the world. The camera zoomed in. Yashao Kaiu's nose and eyes were red, as if she had just cried. An hour ago, her father was seriously injured, his right arm was cut off, and he was carried back unconscious by the tribesmen for emergency treatment. The snow particles blown by the wind, like tiny needles, pierced Yashao Kaiu's eyes. She knew in her heart that her father, who loved knives and martial arts as his life, would never be able to hold a knife again after waking up. Such a majestic, mountain-like person fell to the ground with a bang. It also means that the Ye family, which has stood firm and indestructible for hundreds of years, has a crack. Ye Sheokai was confused and bewildered. The education she received since childhood told her that the more this time, the more she should keep calm. She is the backbone of the Ye family. If she panics, then the end of the Ye family may really come. Ye Sheokai quickly calmed down and asked people to notify the elders of all parties to come to the conference hall for a meeting. She stood in the main seat of the conference hall and issued orders clearly and logically. We must strengthen the deployment on the western coast, especially the Flint Cart, and we must not let the group of people on the sea take the opportunity to harass. The traps in the snow-capped mountains in the north must be buried well, and patrols must be strengthened. Eastern. After the prevention and control deployment, people in the conference hall did not immediately execute the order, but looked at each other. Ye Sheokai was a little unsure about himself. Seeing these people like this, he quickly recalled his orders and did not find any mistakes. Elders, is there any problem with my deployment? Sheokai, we have already made these deployments, a great elder said, but... No problem. Ye Sheokai took on the airs of a clan leader, trying to make his voice sound less crisp and childish, and taught in a deep voice. Now is the best time for the enemy to attack our Ye family. The clan leader is in danger of death. According to the clan's rules, I will exercise the clan leader's power on his behalf. Why are you still hesitating if you don't execute my orders immediately? The elder's eyes flickered, and he didn't dare to look at Ye Sheokai again, but exchanged glances with other elders. None of the elders were willing to speak up. What's wrong? If you have any questions, just say it directly, Ye Sheokai said. But no one spoke. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 514. The door of the conference hall was pushed open. Ye Sheokai's mother walked into the conference hall covered in blood and the smell of medicine. Also broke the silence. Mother Ye walked towards Ye Sheokai and said, the elders are not willing to offend you, so let me say it, Sheokai, our Ye family is at a critical juncture and we must consider alliances with other clans. Ye Sheokai shook his head, no, if you are not from my tribe, I might have different intentions, the alliance at this moment may be playing into their hands. Mother Ye stood still in front of her daughter. My daughter is getting more and more beautiful, and she also looks like a patriarch, what a pity. If we could give them Yeshi and Ye Sheokai some time, she wouldn't have to come forward to be this evil person. She said in a calm tone, Sheokai, we also have this concern. But there is a way to make the other party give up their dissatisfaction. Hearing what his mother said, Ye Sheokai had an unpleasant suspicion in his heart. Sure enough, her mother continued, I have discussed it with several elders and decided to let you marry the Mu family. No, Ye Sheokai flatly refused, mother, elders, you should understand me. This kind of marriage is not good for me and the Ye family. Ye Sheokai's eyes moved away from his mother's face and fell on the face of the elder next to him. They have watched themselves grow up and know that they will never sell their souls for profit. Seeing Ye Sheokai looking over, the elders looked away unnaturally. They may feel guilty or disdainful, but no one wants to look at Ye Sheokai at this moment. Ziokai, don't be willful. There was unconcealable exhaustion in Mother Ye's voice. Now, your marriage is not just your business. This matter is related to the future of our entire Ye family. Are you willing to watch our hundreds of years of foundation be destroyed in one fell swoop? Your father just woke up for a while during the treatment process, and he also agreed to your marriage to Mu. Mu Kingsun is a good boy. He will treat you well. Ye Sheokai looked at his mother. She felt her eyes were tight and her nose was sore. But she held back. The mother's lips opened and closed, and the words she spoke inevitably entered Yesheokai's ears. Emotions, they happen all the time. Zyokaiu. Don't call me Zyokaiu, and don't call me Sheokaiu. I am the future clan leader. Now, I am the acting clan leader, and you should respectfully call me the clan leader. Yesheokaiu stood up from the stool. Mother Ye looked at her daughter in surprise. The daughter's face was calm, showing disappointment and pain, but mostly anger and dissatisfaction. Yesheokaiu looked around at the faces of everyone in the room, as if he was speaking to everyone, more like he was speaking to himself. No one can force me to marry Mukingsuan. I will lead our Ye family to regain our lost land and snatch back the secret gold mine they took away. The reason why they dare to offend us and negotiate terms and marriage with us is because we are not strong enough or ruthless enough. As the leader of the clan, I order you to redefense the key areas around the Ye family. You must not let them take advantage of it at this time. Anyone who violates the rules will be expelled from the clan at the least, or beheaded at the worst. Everyone is sitting or standing. He looked surprised. But no one moved. Until Yemu said, "Do you dare to disobey the clan leader's order?" Everyone in the conference hall then left the conference hall one after another. Just by looking at the way they walk, you can tell what they are thinking inside. When only Yes mother and daughter were left in the conference hall, Yes mother sighed inaudibly and stepped forward to hold Yesheokaiu's hand. "Zyokaiu, as for us women, sometimes we have to face some unfairness." "Mother, I thought you understood me very well." Yesheokaiu withdrew his hand and said word by word, "I will use facts to prove that I am no worse than a man." After saying that, Yesheokaiu flicked his ponytail, reached out to pick up the cloak in the servant's hand, and strode out. All the way north. They had just experienced a fierce battle, but now there was no trace. The heavy snow covered the bloodstains and ruins indiscriminately. Everything in the world seemed so pure and clean. The little leather boots made a crunching sound on the snow. A tear rolled down silently from her jade-like cheek. The camera zoomed in to give a close-up of her falling tears. "Cut," the director shouted, "it's perfect. The emotion is very on point, and it's one shot to the end." The staff on the set immediately stamped their feet and rubbed their faces. They were all freezing. Chengling didn't have time to raise her hands to wipe the tears on her face. She shook off the snow on her shoes first and shivered several times. Wang Zhen took the thick down jacket and trotted all the way to Chengling and helped her put it on. Lin Lengxing drank a glass of warm lemonade. "Thank you." Chengling took the cup and took a sip. The warm water flowed down her throat and into her stomach. The contrast between hot and cold made her shiver involuntarily. Chengling's fingers were red from the cold and extremely stiff. She actually doesn't like very cold places. "Your mother just called you and asked you to come back in a while. She said it was not an important matter," Wang Zhen said. "The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment." Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 515. Chengling raised her head and drank the rest of the lemonade. She felt that her body was much warmer. He put the empty cup into Wang Zhen's hand, took out his mobile phone from the bag Wang Zhen was carrying, and wrapped it tightly in his down jacket. She was afraid that her phone call would affect the shooting at the scene, so she grabbed her phone and walked away. She found her mother's phone number and dialed it back. The call was picked up quickly. "Hey, Mom, I'm Xiaoling." Hearing her daughter's voice, Cheng's mother couldn't help but smile. "Hey, Xiaoling. How is your filming there? Are you used to living in AB/U0026B? Is filming hard? Is it cold? Have you had enough to eat? Do you need me to mail you some daily necessities?" Mothers can't help but ask questions about life when calling their children who live far away, even if these issues have been discussed repeatedly. But damn, I'm always worried. Through this method of asking and answering, you can feel more at ease. Mom, I have everything here. I eat well and sleep comfortably. The cold is a bit cold, but I can bear it. I can't think of anything I need at the moment. If I think of anything I need, I will tell you. Chen Ling answered her mother's question very seriously. Then, she asked, you just called me, what's the matter? I was filming just now. Is everything okay at home? Does my dad have back pain? Is there a girl my brother likes? I haven't met my little sister at school. What's the trouble? Did you and your little sisters have any quarrel? And my grandpa? Hey, everything is fine. Cheng's mother paused. It's your sister. When Cheng Ling heard that it was about his sister, he immediately became nervous. What happened to my sister? She has been very angry recently, especially around her wisdom teeth. Her gums are completely swollen, and her wisdom teeth have even caused a very large oral ulcer on her cheek. I often see her covering her face with a sad look on her face. Asked her, she said with a playful smile that my mother-in-law's problem was just a small mouth ulcer. But she couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and her little face was sharp, so I forcibly took her to see a doctor. After examination, the doctor said that her wisdom teeth were inflamed and she should have them removed. But she had to wait until the inflammation subsided. We have seen all the doctors, but your sister's fever has not gone away. We have given her anti-inflammatory drugs, vegetables, fruits, and vitamin tablets on time and in the right amount, but it doesn't work. The heating came to their school, which makes it drier. Mom knows that you are knowledgeable, and I want to see if there is anything you can do to help your sister relieve herself. Your sister said you were busy and didn't let me call you. Chen Mian, who is a very strong-willed girl who absolutely does not want to cause trouble for others. Once upon a time, because she was carrying Chen Ling's soul fragment, she had nightmares every night and fainted from time to time. She didn't say anything and gritted her teeth to endure it. Such a patient person is tortured to the point where he can't eat well or sleep well. Is this herpetic gingivostomatitis so tough? After listening to his mother's words, Chen Ling pondered for a moment and then replied. Just like this, send me all the reports on her medical treatment, the radiographs of her oral cavity, the medicines prescribed by the doctor, and the methods of treatment she is currently using. The sooner the better. Okay, I'll go take pictures now. Cheng's mother agreed immediately. She took her mobile phone and walked towards the study, where medical records and the like were stored. He kept nagging and admonishing, don't be pushy. Even though you are in good health, you still have to be careful. It's too cold in the northeast, and the hotbed is hot. It's easy to fall into the cold and hot, fire. Cheng's mother took a deep breath of air. Chen Ling was so keen that she immediately noticed the unnatural lag in her mother's speech. She immediately asked, Mom, do you also have oral ulcers? Mother Chen got stuck. Mom, you said that my sister doesn't like to tell me things, don't you do the same? Chen Ling complained, tell me the truth, how are you doing now? Are my dad and the others okay? Hey, you kid, you are so smart. Yes, I also have oral ulcers. Your sister and I are the same as each other. Your grandfather, your father, and your brother don't have it. To be honest, this oral ulcer is really painful. Yes, it's different from before. Chen Ling asked, did you two do anything together before you got the oral ulcer? The day before we got oral ulcers, we went to the night market food stall to eat crayfish. Cheng's mother went to pick up Cheng Xiaomei from school, and the two of them went shopping in the mall. On the way home, they were attracted by the smell of spicy crayfish wafting from the street food stalls. They couldn't help but get out of the car and ate dozens of them each. Chen Ling was helpless. Why are you taking my sister to eat at a food stall so late at night? She is a high school student. What if the food is not fresh and clean and makes her stomachache? Mother Chen muttered in a low voice, there was nothing we could do. We were all very hungry at the time, Besides, Maziaduo is so delicious, the kind of crayfish cooked in big restaurants has no soul. This is all nonsense. Cheng Ling couldn't laugh or cry. Okay, please give me your medical records and other things. Mother Cheng had already walked to the study, opened the family medical record cabinet, and said while looking through it. But, Xiaoling, when we went to see the doctor also said that this year there are a lot of people coming to see the doctor for oral ulcers and internal heat, not just me and your little sister. The doctor said that if your sister and I eat some crayfish, at most we will have stomach upsets, and it is generally difficult to cause such a serious internal heat syndrome. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 516. The doctor said that many people are infected with oral ulcers. Cheng Ling suddenly remembered the day when it snowed heavily. When their crew was watching the heavy snow on the warm Kong, many people said that many people had oral ulcers recently, including Bai Kinkan's younger brother Bai Muchuan. Moreover, they all said that this oral ulcer is difficult to cure, recurring, and often lasts for many days. Could it be the herpes virus modified by the Heji Society? However, this herpes virus is not only uncomfortable, but also not lethal. You know, not all viruses can become biological weapons. The viruses that can be selected as biological weapons must be viruses with high mortality, strong infectiousness, and a large number of susceptible people. Unless some very fierce viruses are transmitted through mucous membranes. And the Heji Society wants to use the seemingly mild oral ulcer virus to open the door of human immunity first, and then release the fierce virus. It is possible. Cheng Ling stopped suddenly. On the other end of the receiver, Cheng's mother continued. The medical record says that it is confirmed to be recurrent herpetic gingivostomatitis caused by wisdom teeth. Dietary recommendations, medication recommendations, orally cyclovir 200 mg each time, 5 times a day, wait for me to take a picture for you. Cheng's mother's words brought Cheng Ling back to her senses. I see, then please take a clearer picture, and don't forget to click the original picture option at the bottom of the screen before sending the photo on WeChat. Please send it to me as soon as possible, Cheng Ling said. Then, she gave a detailed reminder, Mom, you and my sister should pay attention to the disinfection of tableware, toothbrushes, water cups, and other items that come into contact with the mouth and tongue on a daily basis. In addition, vitamin B and vitamin C should be supplemented. In addition, eating some refreshing cold porridge and refreshing side dishes are all good choices. Also, try not to eat out recently. If you must eat, choose a slightly more formal restaurant. If you want to eat crayfish, I will go back and make you crayfish with the taste of a food stall, and you too should not go there again. Listen to my eldest daughter, Cheng's mother said, then she lowered her voice and asked in a low voice, Xiaoling, is there an outbreak of an infectious disease? Not sure. I have some doubts. Anyway, you should be careful first. It won't hurt to be more careful. After exchanging a few more pleasantries with Cheng's mother, Cheng Ling said goodbye and hung up the phone. After putting the phone away, she stamped her feet on the spot and rubbed her frozen hands vigorously. But her thoughts were unusually agile at this moment. What virus has a high mortality rate? And is it transmitted through the mucous membrane? If she is a bad person, what kind of virus will she choose to fight the enemy first? The first choice is definitely respiratory infectious diseases. For example, severe acute respiratory syndrome, Spanish flu virus, etc. This type of virus specifically targets people's respiratory system, and its transmission and destructive power are extremely strong. It is easy to cause respiratory distress syndrome, which can cause irreversible damage to people's lungs. Moreover, Once infected with such a virus, patients will be very painful, and they may face the horror of being unable to breathe. This virus that specifically destroys people's respiratory system is extremely demanding on the local medical level, and it is difficult to cure it, and it costs a huge economic price. This is also the choice of Nathaniel of the Masonic Society. The second is the highly lethal pox virus, such as the smallpox virus that has disappeared today. The smallpox virus is extremely destructive, lethal, and highly contagious. However, people have completely conquered the smallpox virus. This is also the first virus in human history that has been completely defeated. On December 9, 1979, members of the Global Smallpox Eradication Certification Commission signed a certificate of smallpox eradication in Geneva. However, in November 2021, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security found 5 frozen bottles labeled smallpox virus at a vaccine company outside Philadelphia. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention stated that the United States will continue to study the smallpox virus, with a focus on vaccine development, drug diagnosis, and testing. In case terrorists use smallpox as a biological weapon, they can stand up at the first time to protect people and prevent smallpox from causing harm to their bodies. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 517. However, if you want to use the smallpox virus to cause trouble to the enemy, the probability of failure is too high. After all, the smallpox virus has been conquered by people. If a patient with smallpox appears in a certain area one day, the local hospital will take effective action as soon as possible to cut off the transmission chain first. Then isolate the infected patients and track the people who may be infected by the patients for prevention and treatment. Finally, vaccinate the people who may be exposed to the smallpox virus with smallpox vaccine. The smallpox virus will be strangled in the cradle. So Chen Ling denied this speculation. In addition to respiratory infectious viruses, smallpox virus, there is another virus that is also very scary. That is the filovirus. For example, Marburg virus or Ebola virus. This type of virus is widely found in the corpses of animals or humans who died from infection with this type of virus, or in the blood, secretions, excrement, etc. of infected animals and humans. It is transmitted by mucous membranes and broken skin. Marburg virus can cause serious damage to almost all organs except lungs and bones, especially liver, kidneys, and lymphatic tissues. After infection, the liver becomes fragile, swollen, black, spleen congested, follicles disappear, and medulla becomes soft. Red pulp is damaged, lymphocytes are destroyed and significantly reduced, the nervous system is damaged, nodules appear, brain edema. After people are infected with this virus, the mortality rate is as high as 25% in some developed countries with advanced medical levels, and as high as 100% in some developing countries with poor medical levels. Moreover, Marburg virus has a characteristic that it is not resistant to high temperatures. In an environment of 60 degrees Celsius, Marburg virus will lose its infectivity for more than 1 hour. Now, it is winter. Marburg virus is difficult to inactivate. Chen Ling's heartbeat slowly accelerated. It is only a guessing stage at present. She also found a mistake, a fatal mistake. Before today, she had always focused her attention on the infection of the respiratory system, so she did not pay enough attention to the spread of other viruses. How could such a cunning and brutal enemy carry out the task of eliminating humans in a single thread? They can do it in parallel. Chen Ling first sent her speculation to Jiang's father. Cheng Xiaoling, at present, herpetic gingivostomatitis has broken out across the country. I am worried that this is the first step for the enemy to use biological weapons to attack us, open the mucous membrane, and then put in more deadly viruses. It is just my guess at present. I wonder if you can conveniently count the number of patients with oral ulcers in major hospitals across the country. What is the change compared with previous years? Zhang Zhenkuo, got it, count it as soon as possible. Jiang's father immediately attached great importance to it. He ordered his men to assign tasks to major hospitals and ordered the statistics specialist to count the changes in the number of patients with oral ulcers and other diseases in hospitals across the country overnight. After a day's filming, everyone washed up, got into bed, and soon fell into a sweet dream. But Chen Ling didn't sleep. She carried her computer bag and went to a wing room in the corner of the homestay where sundries were piled up. She pulled the light cord and the dim light fell. Chen Ling blew away the dust on a bench next to her, sat down, opened her notebook, and placed it on her thighs. She wanted to learn as much as possible about the most lethal viruses prevalent in the world. Her knowledge of this part was not perfect. In addition, she had to find out what kind of transportation method the enemy would use if they wanted to use a virus like Marburg to harm her country. China's customs were notoriously strict. It was not so easy to get through customs. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 518. Chen Ling studied the information sent by Cheng's mother very carefully. Especially the medications used by Cheng's mother and Cheng Xiaomei. Because Cheng Xiaomei's wisdom teeth were inflamed, the doctor prescribed cephalosporin. Most of what Cheng's mother took were drugs to reduce swelling and relieve pain. Did she take cephalosporin? Chen Ling put down the medical records and searched the internet for two keywords: cephalosporin and oral ulcers. Many related Weibo posts appeared. Chen Ling realized the severity of the oral ulcer this time. Fever, rash, burning in the nasal cavity, throat like a layer of reverse scales, and two large clusters of oral ulcers in the mouth. I am taking cephalosporin to reduce inflammation, it's too painful. I have taken a course of cephalosporin, and the inflammation has finally subsided, but the oral ulcers are still there. Ah, who can understand the pain of me taking anti-inflammatory drugs and still having a fever? Wow, I wonder if that handsome foreign guy is still in the Xianye bar. Last time after drinking, he kissed me. What a romantic encounter. Unfortunately, I got an inflamed mouth ulcer the next day. This is what happens when a crispy college student is too excited. Because I was taking cephalosporin, I really didn't dare to go to the bar to drink with that handsome guy. It's terrible. My roommate seemed to have tonsillitis and took cephalosporin. As a result, he forgot about it and came out to have supper and drink beer with us. While drinking, this grandson foamed at the mouth and fainted. I called an ambulance for the first time in my life. The person was saved. But I was scolded by the doctor. Friends, cephalosporin and alcohol, leave at any time, it's not a joke. Did so many people take cephalosporin? This is a headache. Nowadays, the abuse of cephalosporins is everywhere. As long as there is a symptom of fever and inflammation, take cephalosporin. The consequence of this abuse of cephalosporins is that the antibacterial effect of the drugs is greatly weakened. If infection occurs again, it will be difficult to treat clinically. Chen Ling carefully read every blog post while sliding her finger on the mouse. Her mobile phone vibrated in her pocket. She took it out and saw that it was an encrypted call from Jiang's father. Hello, Miss Chen, I have roughly counted some data here. I am worried that you are in a hurry to use it, so I will send it to you first. When the final results come out and are sorted out, I will send you a complete version. Currently, more than two-thirds of the data from 660 cities and 1,299 counties in the country have been reported. Statisticians have found a pattern that oral ulcers are concentrated in those cities with a relatively high degree of openness, especially young people who love nightlife in the southeast coastal areas. And those relatively backward and closed cities and counties in the inland have fewer oral ulcer outbreaks. Ling remembered the Weibo of the blogger who went to the bar to drink. Wow, I wonder if that handsome foreign boy is still in the Xianye bar. Last time after drinking, he kissed me. What a romantic encounter. Unfortunately, I got an inflamed mouth ulcer the next day. The IP address of this blogger is a developed city in the southeast. Ling's heart moved. Cheng's mother and Cheng's younger sister went to the stalls at the night market to eat spicy crayfish. Uncle Zhang, please check again, are there many foreign tourists in the developed cities where the outbreak is concentrated? In addition, move the timeline of seeing a doctor forward, see if the first generation of oral ulcers have been to snack stalls and bar streets like night markets, and, not long ago was Halloween, and many businesses catered to consumer psychology and held Halloween parties. This is also the focus of investigation, find intersections on the route. That may be our breakthrough. Ms. Cheng, do you suspect that this large-scale outbreak of oral ulcers is the result of human manipulation? Jiang's father asked. Yes, Uncle Zhang, I have this guess, Ling said. Our customs are very strict. It is very difficult to get food with problems into the country. But people are different. We can't just turn away international friends with oral ulcers, right? Especially those international friends with relatively good looks, see if they frequently go to public places where oral ulcers break out. In addition, the hygiene of tableware at street food stalls, I want to remind everyone to pay more attention recently. Street stalls are often not unhygienic in terms of food ingredients, but unhygienic in terms of tableware. Most of the recycled plates are used by the previous customer, wiped with a rag, and then used by the next customer. There is no disinfection process. It is very easy to spread diseases. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 519. But what is their purpose for doing this? Father Zhang asked. Ling explained seriously, I searched on the internet and found that after many people got oral ulcers this time, they were usually accompanied by more serious oral inflammation. Many people took anti-inflammatory drugs such as cephalosporins. Oral ulcers can open the door to the immune system, and viruses and bacteria are not blocked from entering the body. In addition, if this abuse of cephalosporins becomes a common phenomenon, people will develop resistance to the drug over a period of time, then another outbreak will occur at this time. For a disease that requires cephalosporins to cure, our doctors are helpless. Father Zhang said in a deep voice, I know. I'll go check it out. Uncle Zhang, wait a moment, Ling called to Father Zhang who was about to hang up the phone. How is he? Father Zhang hasn't given her any information about Zhang Qilan for a long time. He has entered the master's house. Unfortunately, his companion does not have a ticket and cannot look around the master's house to inquire. Understood. That is to say, Zhang Qilan has integrated into the Heji Association. Companions, refers to the task force. The task force can no longer come into close contact with Zhang Qilan to avoid being exposed. Therefore, Zhang Qilan is now fighting alone. Ling was a little worried, then his mask won't be torn off, right? What she meant was that Zhang Qilan became a member of the Union Jack Association by virtue of its emblem. But will his true identity be discovered by the Freemasons? Father Zhang said softly, no. Do you know the story of the white bone demon? I know. Ling paused, then raised his voice, you mean, he has a perfect body. Unless the other party has sharp eyes, Zhang Qilan's true identity cannot be revealed. Because he is carrying a perfect identity. An identity that actually exists. What is the evidence for people's survival in the modern information society? A string of data. Birth certificate, school certificate, medical ID, driver's license, ID card. If all the certificates of a person can be found in the archives, does this person definitely exist? On the other hand, if a person cannot be found in any file, does that mean that person does not exist? In many key areas of China, there are many ghost people, that is, blank identities. When needed, just take the identity and embed it. Just like the white bone spirit among the 36 white bone spirits in Journey to the West, she can choose the body at will. Choose grandpa, she will be grandpa. Choose grandma, she is grandma. Choose a girl, be a girl. This kind of blank identity is of great use. Many tasks are not suitable for the state to handle. For example, stealing intelligence, purchasing lost cultural relics, acquiring some very important institutions, or absorbing and contacting some talents for the use of China. Let's take the matter of purchasing cultural relics and antiques as an example. If you purchase it as China, the other party will be under great pressure. Many cultural relics are left outside because of war, invasion, or unfair means, and the other party will most likely find various reasons to terminate the transaction. If China does everything in the name of the country, no matter how big or small, it will lose face. In some special times, China's cultural relics have experienced catastrophes. Some wealthy businessmen from neighboring countries with a keen sense of business went to China and purchased countless antiques, calligraphy and paintings by famous people at very eye-popping prices. These people later became the top rich people. John Killen's identity at the moment is that of a wealthy antique trading family in Singapore, the Fang family. His pseudonym is Fang Wenjian and he grew up in England. In the Singapore social identity data, there are exact records. When the country wants to activate this identity, all relevant information in the database will be updated with John Killen's information, such as photos at each stage, blood type, education level, etc. His life story is this. The Fang family is sparse, and the Fang family only has one daughter. Fang Wenjian is an illegitimate son and a dishonorable existence, which is why he is unknown to the public. Everyone in the Fang family is an employee of the Special Security Bureau. The upper management wanted to use Fang Wenjian's identity, so they arranged a fire for the Fang family and killed the whole family. All employees could return home. And the lawyer showed up and announced an inheritance. Master Fang gave all his assets to his illegitimate son, Fang Wenjian, who had been born and raised in England since his birth. As for wealth, it's even simpler. For an individual or a family, having a net worth of tens of billions is simply an unimaginable dream. But for the country, it is easy to create a rich man. As a result, John Killen became a billionaire, with a perfect illegitimate identity, and successfully entered the rich circle. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 520. Of course, in addition to this blank identity, there are some people who have been living with a fake identity since childhood. Can you clearly recall every elementary school, junior high school, and university classmate? Can you contact all old classmates and colleagues? Are you sure that your classmates are just simple classmates? Are your colleagues just simple colleagues? Don't they have other identities? If someone stands in front of you and says to you, "I am your junior high school classmate XX," you who have entered middle age, will you doubt his identity? As early as 50 years ago, the country launched a secret talent training program, which is to select children with good character and academic performance from military officers' families, train them with the highest national standards, and then send them to all parts of the world to live for a period of time, and then leave. People like them often behave mediocrely and dull. Even if they participate in group activities, they are definitely marginal figures and will not attract other people's attention. They often have neither outstanding grades nor bad grades. In a word, extremely low sense of existence. After he/she leaves this position or graduates from relevant colleges and universities, almost no one will mention him/her. Even if someone accidentally mentioned him/her and wanted to contact him/her, they found that he/she had disappeared. All contact information, home phone numbers, and important contacts have all become invalid information. In England, there was such a boy with black hair and yellow skin who left after living in a community for 7 or 8 years. The people of the Masons took the photo of Fang Wenjian and returned to the place where he lived and grew up. They asked the local residents, and the residents insisted that the adult man in the photo was the black-haired and yellow-skinned boy who once lived there. The identity was replaced without a trace. There would be almost no flaws. This method is not only used in China. There are similar organizations in various developed countries. In England, they are called Mary Intelligence 6 of the English Army Intelligence Bureau. In the United States, they are called the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States, and in the Soviet Union, they are called the Soviet Federal Security Bureau. Asterisk. Uncle Zhang, I know. Chen Ling breathed a sigh of relief after learning how Zhang Qilan fabricated his identity. Zhang Qilan's identity should be safe. However, just in case, she would also help Zhang Qilan cover up, fill him with fake identity information from the internet, and delete the evidence that he had ever lived in China. Try to be foolproof. Jiang's father's tone softened, and he said like a neighbor's uncle chatting, Miss Chen, I want to ask you a question. You don't have to feel pressured, just treat it as a casual chat. Please ask. Is our situation very serious at the moment? If it goes on like this, is it possible that the Third World War will break out? Chen Ling said softly, Uncle Zhang, in my superficial and foolish opinion, I think that the Third World War has already begun. It's the 21st century. The lowest level of war is real swords and guns, real people fighting on the battlefield, a war with real gun smoke, just like using sticks and stones to fight with armed soldiers. It's ridiculous and low level. This is the worst strategy in the art of war. Intermediate war is information warfare, that is, snatching intelligence information from other countries, seizing the moral high ground in public opinion, provoking internal harmonious relations, making the enemy country dissatisfied with the current rule and disgusted with their own country. A big country is a complex machine. To operate normally, each component must cooperate with each other. But a machine always has a first function and a third function. In some special cases, the third function can only be sacrificed to protect the first function. Taking care of this, you often lose the other. Then, the enemy will grab the other you have lost and attack you, causing indignation among its own people, and the country will be unstable. This is the middle strategy in the art of war. The most advanced war is biological warfare. The kind of war that uses force will only make both sides of the war be criticized by the whole world. Fighters, tanks, bombs, soldiers, are all low-level tools. The truly advanced tools are biological weapons. Biological weapons can quietly hollow out the foundation of a country, including but not limited to population, financial resources, physical and mental health. This is the best strategy in the art of war.